Welcome to Reverend Insanity, where immortality comes at the highest price. Fang Yuan, obediently hand over the spring-autumn cicada. It'll give you a treat. Old Mo Fang, don't try to resist. Today, the major factions of the righteous path are united to break through your devil's den. The net has already been laid here, and this time you must be in a different place. Fang Yuan, you damn devil, you killed tens of thousands of people in order to become a spring-autumn cicada. You have already committed a monstrous crime, which is unforgivable and indescribable. The devil, you insulted me 300 years ago, took away my innocence, killed my entire family, and executed my 9 clans. From that moment on, I wanted to eat your flesh and drink your blood. Today, I want to make your life worse than death. Fang Yuan was wearing a tattered green robe. His hair was disheveled, his body was covered in blood, and he looked around. The mountain wind blew the blood robes and roared like a war flag. Bright red blood gushed out from the hundreds of wounds on his body. Just standing there for a while, a large pool of blood had accumulated under Fang Yuan's feet. The group of enemies is waiting around, and there is no way out for a long time. The overall situation has been set, and there is no doubt that he will die today. Fang Yuan was stunned by the situation, but even if death was imminent, his expression remained calm. His eyes were faint, like a deep pool in an ancient well, bottomless as always. The righteous heroes who besieged him were either the noble elders of the dignified faction or the young heroes who were famous everywhere. At this time, Fang Yuan was firmly surrounded, some roaring, some sneering, some eyes narrowed with vigilance, and some covered their wounds and looked in fear. They didn't do anything. They were all afraid of Fang Yuan's dying counterattack. It was a tense confrontation for 3 hours. The sun set in the west, and the afterglow of the setting sun ignited the sunset on the side of the mountain, and it was as gorgeous as fire for a while. Fang Yuan, who had been as still as a sculpture, turned around slowly. There was a commotion in the group of heroes, and they all took a big step back. At this moment, the gray-white rocks under Fang Yuan's feet had already been dyed dark red with blood. His pale face, due to excessive blood loss, was illuminated by the sunset and suddenly added a sweet brilliance. Watching the sunset on the green mountain, Fang Yuan smiled softly. The sunset on the green mountain, the spring breeze in the autumn moon. It really is like the blue silk, and the snow turns into snow, and the success or failure turns into nothing. When he said this, all kinds of things on the earth in the previous life suddenly appeared in front of him. He was originally a Chinese student on Earth, and he traveled to this world by chance. After 300 years of tossing and turning, more than 200 years in the world, more than 500 years of time, but it is dazzling and fleeting. Many memories buried deep in my heart come alive at this moment and come back vividly in front of my eyes. Failed after all. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart with some emotion, but he didn't regret it. He had already foreseen this result. When you made your choice, you were mentally prepared. The so-called magic way is not cultivating good fruits, killing people, and setting fires. Heaven and earth are not tolerated. The whole world is an enemy, and we have to indulge in indulgence. If the spring-autumn cicada that has just been refined is effective, you will still be a demon in the next life. Thinking like this, Fang Yuan couldn't help laughing out loud. Old demon, what are you laughing at? Everyone be careful. The devil is about to fight back. Hurry up and hand over the spring and autumn cicada. The group of heroes forced him to come, and at this moment, Fang Yuan blew himself up with a bang. The spring rains are silently moisturizing Qingmao Mountain. It was late at night, and the cool breeze was blowing the drizzle. Qingmao Mountain is not dark. From the mountainside to the foot of the mountain, there are many shimmering lights, as if it is covered with a brilliant light belt. These lights come from high-rise hanging buildings. Although they are not called thousands of lights, they are also in the scale of thousands. It is the ancient moon cottage located in Qingmao Mountain that adds a strong atmosphere of people to the vast and quiet mountains. At the very center of Goyue Cottage is a magnificent pavilion. At this time, a sacrificial ceremony is being held. Therefore, the lights are bright and brilliant. Bless the ancestors and sex. I hope that there will be more young people with excellent qualifications in this enlightenment ceremony, adding new blood and hope to the family. Patriarch Guyue looks middle-aged, with slightly frosted temples and a solemn white sacrificial costume, kneeling on the brown-yellow floor, straight upper body, folded hands, closed eyes, and prayed sincerely. He was facing the tall black lacquer table, which had 3 floors and enshrined the tablets of the ancestors. There are red copper incense burners on both sides of the tablet, and cigarettes are curled. Behind him, there are also more than 10 people kneeling. They wear large white sacrificial clothes, and they are the elders and talkers of the family, and they hold authority in all aspects. After praying for a while, Patriarch Guyu took the lead in bending over, with his hands spread out, his palms firmly against the floor, and kowtowed. His forehead hit the brown floor with a soft pop. The elders behind them all had solemn expressions and followed suit silently. For a time, the clan ancestral hall was filled with the light sound of forehead hitting the floor. When the ceremony was over, everyone slowly stood up from the floor and walked out of the solemn ancestral hall quietly. In the corridor, the elders breathed a sigh of relief silently, and the atmosphere was relaxed. The chatter gradually grew. Time flies so fast, in the blink of an eye, a year has passed. The last enlightenment ceremony was like it happened yesterday, and it's still vivid in my mind. Tomorrow is the annual enlightenment ceremony. I wonder what kind of new blood in the family will emerge this year? Hey, I hope that a young man with first-class aptitude will appear. Our Guyue clan has not seen such a genius for 3 years. Yes, Baijajai and Xiongjiajai have had talents emerging in recent years. Especially Bai Ningbing from the Bai family. His talent is really terrifying. I don't know who it is. When the name Bai Ningbing is mentioned, a look of worry appeared on the faces of the elders. This son's aptitude is extremely outstanding, and in just 2 years, he has already cultivated to a rank 3 Gu master. Among the younger generation, it can be said to be the leader. Even the older generation felt the pressure of this rising star. In time, he must be the pillar of Baijazai. At least it is also a strong one on its own. No one doubted this. However, among the teenagers who participated in the Enlightenment ceremony this year, it is not without hope. Yes, there is a genius boy in Fang Jimai. He can speak in March and walk in April. He can write poetry and recite poems when he is 5 years old. He is very intelligent and talented. It's a pity that his parents died early, and now his uncles and aunts are killed, nurtured. Well, it's wise and ambitious. I've heard of the toasting, Yongmei, and Jiang Chengzi he created in recent years. What a genius! Patriarch Guyue was the last to walk out of the ancestral hall and slowly closed the door when he heard the voices of the elders talking in the corridor. Immediately, they knew that the elders were talking about a young man named Guyue Fang Yuan. As the head of the clan, he will naturally pay attention to those outstanding children. And Guyue Fang Yuan is the most outstanding and dazzling one among the juniors. Experience has shown that people who are often unforgettable since childhood, or who are as powerful as adults and other gifted people, have excellent cultivation qualifications. If this child is tested for A-level aptitude, and he is good at training, he may not be able to compete with Bai Ningbing. Even if he is a B-level aptitude, he will be able to stand on his own in the future and become a banner of the Guyue clan. However, his early wisdom, B-level aptitude, it's not very likely. It's very likely that it's Class A. With this thought, the corners of Guyu's patriarch's mouth twitched slightly, and a smile appeared. Immediately, he coughed and said to the elders, "Everyone, it's getting late. For the sake of tomorrow's Hall of Enlightenment, please rest well tonight and take care of your spirits." The elders were slightly startled when they heard this. There was a hint of vigilance in the eyes looking at each other. The patriarch said this implicitly, but everyone knew what it meant. Every year, in order to compete for these talented juniors, the clan elders are all red-faced and bloodied. It's time to recharge your batteries, wait until tomorrow, and fight for that. Especially that Guyue Fang Yuan, the possibility of A-level aptitude is very high. Moreover, his parents have died, and he is one of the only 2 orphans left in Fangji's vein. If you can earn it into your own vein and cultivate it well, you can ensure the prosperity of your own branch for 100 years. However, let's talk about the ugly first. If you want to fight in an upright manner, you can't use conspiracy methods to damage the unity of the family. Please keep it in mind, all the elders. The patriarch said in a serious tone, "Don't dare, don't dare. Be sure to keep it in mind. This is our farewell, the patriarch. Please stay." The elders were full of thoughts and dispersed one by one. Soon, the long corridor was deserted. The spring rain slanted the wind blowing through the window, and the patriarch gently walked to the window. Immediately, my mouth is full of fresh and moist mountain air, which is refreshing. This is the third floor of the attic, and when the patriarch looks around, most of the ancient moon cottage can be seen in a glance. In the middle of the night at this moment, most of the houses in the village still have lights on, which is very different from usual. Tomorrow is the Enlightenment ceremony, which concerns everyone's vital interests. An excited and tense atmosphere enveloped the hearts of the clansmen, and naturally many people could not sleep peacefully. This is the family's hope for the future. With a little light reflected in his eyes, the patriarch sighed. At this time, there is also a pair of clear eyes, quietly watching these lights shining in the middle of the night, full of complex feelings. Guyue Shanjai, this is 500 years ago? The spring-autumn cicada really worked. Fang Yuan's eyes were dim, standing by the window, letting the wind and rain hit him. The role of the spring and autumn cicada is to reverse time. In the ranking of the top 10 strange Gus, being able to rank 7th is naturally no trivial matter. In short, rebirth. Using the spring and autumn cicada to be reborn, it's back to 500 years ago. Fang Yuan stretched out his hand, fixed his eyes on his young and somewhat pale palm, and then slowly clenched it, feeling the truth with all his strength. He heard the slight sound of the drizzle hitting the casement, and he slowly closed his eyes, only to open them after a long while, and sighed. 500 years of experience is really like a dream, but he clearly knew that this was not a dream. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting adventures. Well, discover young Fang Yuan's Nilling, next move in this dangerous game of power. This is Nazus. Your support means the world to me, and I'll see you in the next chapter.